exercise. Alright, so for part 2 of this assignment, I've chosen sledgehammer swings on the tire for my non-traditional exercise, okay? So this is a great exercise for dynamic core stability, power, okay? Again, sticking with those dynamic movements. I know in the previous video we talked about power clean, power snatch, and a high pull variation of that. So without much further ado, just want to show a couple of repetitions for this, okay? So we want to utilize momentum of the sledgehammer itself, okay? The sledgehammer is our friend. Don't fight the momentum. Allow the momentum to do a lot of the work for you while you maintain stabilization of the core, okay? Abdominal bracing. Want to wind it around the hip. To squat into it as we slam on the tire, all right? So that's a right-sided repetition. Side. Exhale as we strike down, right? We don't want to be holding our breath, okay? Let's show a couple more repetitions of that. All right. So I'm pulling the sledgehammer back, allowing it to fall. Use the momentum. Abs are tight the whole time. Okay. You'll see some athletes want to do too much movement in the transverse plane with this, right? So if they're coming way out here, it's too much work, right? And it's not the idea of the exercise that we want to achieve, okay? Allow the momentum to come straight back around, more so in the sagittal plane. Okay? We also don't want the athlete to rotate out of this, like this, right? You don't want to see that. Try to maintain as much as you can forward-facing posture with this, all right? So a progression of this exercise is to essentially make it more dynamic, okay? We can get a heavier sledgehammer if warranted, but I'll show a few dynamic repetitions of the progression of this, okay? So, non-stop. Right? If our athlete's having difficulty with any of these movements, okay, we don't have to use a sledgehammer to accomplish the same thing. I like to take a step back and grab a baseball bat, okay? It's relatively light in comparison to the sledgehammer, but it also affords the athlete the ability to focus on their form. Don't put something heavy in their hands if they're having difficulty with the form, right? Form first. Start at the basics. So, down. We can focus on our breathing with this, the actual movement itself, and our abdominal bracing, okay? Without too much risk, okay? Once the athlete has that basic movement pattern down and the breathing patterns down, then we can jump back up to where we want them to be, okay? So before I even put a sledgehammer in their hands, a lot of times I will start with the regression that I just described with you. Something, a baseball bat, a piece of PVC pipe, just to get that movement down. Then we progress to the sledgehammer, okay? As such, as we mentioned, there's the basic exercise. And then the progression of that, more dynamic, right? We're moving. All right. Thanks for your time.